was about to leave my wife's boss's party when I heard something that made me stop cold. It was just after 9, and the soft hum of conversation mixed with the clinking of glasses was making my head ache. The room smelled of expensive perfume, rich cologne, and too many candles. I had never liked these kinds of gatherings, too staged, too polished, but I had promised Anna I'd come. She had been insistent. "It's just a small office party, you'll be fine," she had said. Her voice, sweet but commanding, carried the subtle undercurrent I had learned to recognize over the years, the tone she used when she wanted me to cave. I should have known something was off the moment we walked in. Anna's boss, Greg Thompson, was holding court near the fireplace, laughing too loudly, his hand resting a little too comfortably on her lower back. I tried to ignore it, telling myself I was imagining things. But the nagging sense in the pit of my stomach wouldn't let me. I had already decided to slip out early. My excuse was simple: an early morning meeting. But as I turned toward the door, I heard her voice, Anna's voice, laughing. That alone wouldn't have stopped me. What froze me where I was wasn't her laughter, but what she said next. "I don't care if anyone finds out," she whispered, just loud enough for me to hear. "I want you. I've wanted you since that night at the conference." I stopped mid-step, the words echoing in my ears. My heart slammed against my ribs, a violent rhythm that made my ears ring. I slowly turned, peering through the crowd. There, in a quiet corner near the coat rack, Anna was pressed against Greg. His hand lingered on her arm, and she was leaning in close, her lips brushing his ear. I could see her smile, a private, knowing smile that wasn't meant for me. I wanted to walk away. I wanted to convince myself I had misunderstood. But the words had cut deeper than any knife. I felt my chest tighten as my stomach turned over in betrayal. The world seemed to narrow to that small corner of the room, to the sight of my wife, my Anna, being intimate with the man she called her boss. I remember standing there, frozen, while the noise of the party faded into a dull, oppressive hum. My mind raced. How long has this been going on? How could she do this to me? I tried to retreat silently, edging toward the exit. But as I passed by a group of coworkers, someone called my name. "Hey, Mark. You leaving already?" It was Lisa, Greg's assistant, cheerful and oblivious. "Yeah. Just a bit early," I mumbled, forcing a smile that felt fake even to me. I stepped into the hallway, needing air, needing space to think. But the hallway wasn't empty. Through the crack in the door I could see them, Anna and Greg. He was leaning in now, his hand tracing her back, and her head tilted toward his chest. She didn't notice me, or maybe she didn't care. Something inside me broke. I left the building in a daze, the cool night air doing little to calm the storm inside me. The city lights blurred into streaks of gold and white as I drove, gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles went white. Questions and accusations spun in my mind. How could she? Why? Did she ever love me? The drive home was silent, except for the occasional sob I tried to swallow. When I finally stepped into our apartment, everything smelled the same, our life untouched and ordinary. And yet nothing felt ordinary anymore. I had been living next to a stranger, sharing a bed with someone who had betrayed me. Anna was already home, smiling as if nothing had happened. "Hey, honey. You're back early," she said, tossing her coat on the chair. Her smile faltered slightly when she noticed my expression, but she quickly masked it with casual charm. I left early," I said, my voice tight. "Party wasn't really my thing." "Oh, that's okay," she replied, brushing past me toward the kitchen. "I stayed a bit longer to chat with Greg." Her voice was light, teasing, as if she had no idea the truth had slipped into my ears earlier that night. I followed her into the living room, my mind racing. I needed answers, but I didn't know how to ask. Not yet. Not while the raw, burning pain of betrayal still throbbed in my chest. "I saw you tonight," I finally said, my voice shaking. I heard you with Greg." She froze mid-step, the mug she was holding nearly slipping from her hands. Her eyes widened, not with fear, not with guilt, but with a kind of startled, calculating look that made my stomach drop. "You heard," she said, her voice low, controlled. "Yes," I said, my fists clenching at my sides. "I heard you whispering to him. Telling him. You wanted him." Her lips parted, and for a moment I thought she might lie. But then she sighed, a soft, resigned sound. "Mark, I didn't mean for you to hear that. Didn't mean for me to hear it." I almost laughed, but it came out as a bitter, hollow sound. "Anna, you've been cheating on me, haven't you?" Her silence was the loudest answer. My heart pounded in my chest like a drumbeat of grief. I felt rage and sorrow swirl together, hot and corrosive, making my hands shake. I don't know what to say," she whispered finally. "It's complicated. I didn't mean for it to happen." I stepped back, the apartment suddenly feeling too small, too suffocating. "Complicated," I repeated, my voice raw. "You've been lying to me, Anna. Every night you come home and smile, pretending everything's normal. And all the while, you've been sneaking around behind my back with your boss." Her eyes filled with tears, but I couldn't tell if they were remorse or regret over being caught. "Mark, please." No, I interrupted, my voice rising. Don't try to explain. I don't want explanations. I want the truth. I want the person I married." She flinched like my words struck her physically. I was lonely," she admitted, voice trembling. "I felt unappreciated. You've been so busy with work, with everything else. And Greg, he made me feel special." The pain hit me in waves. "Special. That's what she calls it. Special." I felt dizzy, the room tilting as if reality itself was mocking me. "Special," echoed, voice breaking. "Anna, we've been together for 10 years. 10 years. And you call sneaking around with your boss special?" She didn't answer. She just looked at me, her eyes wide, pleading. I wanted to scream. I wanted to shake her until she felt the betrayal that was crushing me. But instead I felt emptiness. A hollow, echoing void where love had lived. "I need space," I said finally, my voice cold now. "I need time to think." She nodded, tears streaming freely now. "I understand, Mark. I'll wait." But I didn't wait. I left our apartment that night, driving aimlessly, my mind replaying the scene at Greg's party over and over. Every laugh, every whispered word, every touch between them carved itself into my memory. In the weeks that followed, I barely spoke to Anna. She sent messages, apologies, confessions, and promises. But every word felt hollow. I began to notice all the little signs I had ignored over the years. The secretive texts, the sudden late nights, the defensiveness whenever I asked simple questions. It all clicked into place like a puzzle I had been too blind to see. I realized then that the pain wasn't just in the betrayal itself, but in the erosion of trust, the slow poisoning of a life we had built together. I mourned not just the loss of my marriage, but the loss of the person I thought I knew. One evening, I returned to the apartment to gather my things. Anna was there, waiting, her face pale and strained. "Mark, please," she said softly. "We can fix this. I can fix this." I shook my head, tears threatening to spill. "You broke us, Anna. Not me. You." Her shoulders slumped, and I could see the defeat in her eyes. I'm sorry," she whispered. "Sorry isn't enough," I said, my voice trembling. "You chose him. You chose betrayal over the life we promised each other. And there's nothing I can do to change that." I packed my belongings silently, each item a reminder of what we had lost. When I finally turned to leave, she reached for me, but I stepped back. "Goodbye, Anna," I said, the words tasting bitter on my tongue. "I hope one day you understand what you've lost." And then I left. I never went back. The apartment became just a memory, a monument to a life that could have been. The betrayal didn't end that night. It lingered, a quiet ache in my chest, a lesson in trust, heartbreak, and the cruel complexity of human desire. Months later, I moved into a new apartment, started therapy, and slowly rebuilt my life. But I never forgot the sight of Anna and Greg in that corner at the party. Her whispered words, the smile that had shattered everything. Some nights, when the city is quiet and the lights blur into golden streaks, I remember that moment. The moment I stopped cold, and I realized that some betrayals don't just break trust. They redefine everything you thought you knew about love, loyalty, and yourself. And in that quiet, painful clarity, I finally understood. The person I loved was gone, and all that remained was the truth I hadn't wanted to face.